Hi, and welcome back to Supply Chain Secrets. We're going to be covering a very popular topic yet again this week, and that is how do you get supply chain jobs overseas? People are asking me every week, and this time I thought we'd actually talk to someone who has managed to do that. So I'm going to be talking to one of our team, Naveed, and that's coming right up. Okay, so we're on the topic of getting jobs overseas and getting jobs in supply chain. And we're lucky this week to be talking to a guy who's actually gone through that whole process. So welcome, Naveed. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Rob. It's lovely to talk to
Naveed
you.
actually works in our team at Logistics Bureau. And so he's gone through this whole process of studying overseas and getting jobs overseas. So maybe, Naveed, you could kind of kick off with, where you're from originally and how you ended up in Australia.
Okay. So I'm from India and did most of my schooling there, including my college. But for a semester, I was in France where I got involved in a lot of in a supply chain subject that included planning and design, and that sort of intrigued my interest in this area.
Right.
So after I came back, I took up a role in a global footwear organization as a procurement associate while I was doing a part-time degree as well. But after working there for roughly a year and a half, I realized that it's not going to, in order to progress, I need to study more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I chose the finance, which I had studied in my undergrad, and combined it with supply chain in my postgrad, and decided to come to Australia, to University of Sydney, where the school of the ITLS is one of the renowned schools in
Wow.
supply chain.
So was it difficult getting into an overseas university?
Not really. If you have the grades and you write a good statement of purpose, it just helps you to get into that.
So one of the questions that people ask a lot on the channel and on our blog is around qualifications. And they'll say, "Oh, look, I've got a degree in this. Should I do another degree, or should I do a diploma?" How many degrees have you actually got?
3.
So tell us what those are.
So my undergrad was in business administration.
Yeah.
Then I did my postgraduate diploma in, again, finance and insurance. Yeah. And then my master's degree in finance and supply chain.
Wow. So maybe I've been giving people out with the wrong advice, saying get some work experience. You've done it the other way and got loads. Are you sure you're from India and not from China? Because the Chinese go crazy on qualifications, don't they? Like they want their kids to all have like 6 degrees or something.
Well, it's not that different in India.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us, you got over here and you were doing your masters then in Australia. So was the intention then always to get a job and stay in Australia, or were you going to go back to India? How did that all work out, and what was it like trying to find work here?
So while starting out, I had a job at the university, so that stayed for the most part of my 2 years. But other than that, I was keen to work in Australia because a lot of my seniors in my previous college who were living, who studied here and started living here, they were talking about the working culture and the ease of just working around here was easy for them. And they really encouraged me to apply for a country to stay in Australia post my studies.
Yeah.
How about how did I find the job? So regarding that, I was talking to in one of our supply chain seminars, because in the school they had these where the alumni came and gave talks about what they do in real life after years of experience. And one of them turned out to be a supply chain consultant. So I got talking to her post that event and what she does and how do you get into this? And what really interested me was that there is a breadth of projects.
Mm.
So, and I wanted to be, before becoming the specifist, I wanted to be a generalist
Mm.
to try to run my fingers throughout all the businesses. And that's how I started finding supply chain consulting jobs.
Wow. Okay. So how did you actually land your job with us?
Uh, I connected with you on LinkedIn before I actually
Mm.
applied for the job. But then this consultant that I was speaking to, I showed her a few of my projects on
Mm.
spatial analytics, and she recommended Logistics Bureau
Mm.
because the kind of work that you do with the distribution network designs.
Mm.
And that's how I landed up on your page and just sent out an email. There was no job opening as such, but I just thought, why not give it a
Mm.
shot? And you got back to me.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point on job hunting, and it's something that I always tell people that a lot of the jobs that people get are never advertised. And I've always said, you know, we don't actually have vacancies at Logistics Bureau. It's just occasionally we come across people and we think it's a good fit, and yeah, you know, come on board. So I can't honestly, maybe once or twice in 23 years, we've actually had, you know, a vacancy and we advertised it and we went through the normal sort of process. But yeah, I mean, that's intriguing. So you just reached out on LinkedIn. Now, if you're watching this, don't think that just by reaching out on LinkedIn and saying, hi, Rob, you're going to get a job. I think, Naveed, we just kind of clicked and we needed someone else with your skills kind of at that time, and that worked out really well. So how
Yes.
long have you been with us now?
It's going to be a year in a month.
Yeah. And what's it been like then? Has been, you know, being a supply chain consultant, was it what you imagined?
Um,
Oh, you took too long to think about that.
sorry.
Has it been that bad?
No, I didn't expect to get pushed in front of clients very soon because
Mm.
during the beginning, like first 2-3 months, I was still
Yeah.
expecting to learn the ropes.
Yep.
But it was the first month itself that I was meeting clients and all the senior management teams of these
Yeah.
global corporations and
Mm.
um, talking to them as a normal person who would be consulted on this,
Yeah.
which was unexpected.
Mm.
So
We
yeah,
wouldn't have allowed you to do it if you were going to screw it up, don't worry. But that was interesting. I can remember you remarking on that. But you know, if you've got specialist skills and we need to explain to the client, you know, what we're doing and things, you know, you're the specialist. You need to explain it.
yeah, so yes, that was really surprising for me, and the sort of communication that's required, and um, how to explain the stepping stones to them.
Mm.
That part really got interesting for me
So it
because
wasn't a bad move then overall, getting into supply chain consulting.
not at all.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll be let out of our prisons soon. This is being shot in May 2020. And funnily enough, the part of Sydney that I'm living in, I'm locked down in my home here, and Naveed's locked down in his home, and it's about 4 kilometres that way, I think. It's
That's
not
right.
actually that far, and our office is 1 kilometre that way. So there's a few of us kind of living in this area. So what's a bit of advice you might give to somebody who's thinking of going overseas to study, maybe to try and find work overseas? You know, what would be like a number one tip? Is it build up your qualifications? Is it make sure your language skills are good? You know, what would it be?
Uh, I believe communication is the primary part that
Mm.
everybody needs to improve on. That's what I personally feel.
Mm.
Qualifications, though they have helped me to get here,
Mm.
I would still prefer to have more work experience to exactly find the field
Mm.
that I want
Mm.
to work in.
Yeah.
And most of all, finding a university overseas is it just depends on what you exactly
Mm.
want to do and
Yeah.
select universities accordingly.
Okay. Well, it's good to have you on the team, and hopefully we've got lots more exciting projects coming out. You've been getting involved in some pretty major projects over the last few months, and thanks for joining us. And that, I think that number one tip on communication, that's obviously been a solid thread through all of what you've done. You know, you went to France to study. You were able to put up a good case to get into an Australian university. You reached out on LinkedIn. You know, you presented well with your job hunting. And you're right, it was all down to communication, having a bit of confidence in yourself, being able to communicate well. And that probably is the most important thing. Good point. Okay,
Thanks, Rob.
so thanks, Naveed. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for watching yet again. If you find these videos of interest and you haven't been here before, you might want to subscribe. So just hit that subscribe button down below, the red button, and we have new videos coming out every week, generally on a Wednesday. So if you hit the little bell, you'll get notified about those as well. Any questions you have, do please comment below. Do share, do like. The more shares and likes, we know which topics you like, and then we do more and more of them. So this seemed to be a particular topic that people wanted to hear more of. So thanks, Naveed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.